Why don't you tell us, talk about Old Wars?
Yeah, this is a nice track.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Oftentimes when I make a track, I'm thinking about what either has happened in life or what's going on in my life at the time. And, even the chord progression with this track kind of speaks to something in the past needing to be resolved and then meeting in the present and making those resolutions. You understand? So for me, Old Wars is more like a reflection of what's been happening in the past and bringing that out in the music. You know what I'm saying? Even with the drums coming in, it almost sounds like, like an old battlefront or you're just getting yourself ready to go to battle. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was thinking about, just being able to address other concerns in the past right now. So that's what that means to me. And each part of the song has a distinctive introduction. So you hear the bass line, like we're getting ready. The drums is going, we're getting ready. We're taking notice, of what's happening. Again, we're providing some type of remedy or solution right now. So it is an emotional track because it's kind of reflective of things that we've all experienced, especially when it comes to, personal goals and just life in general, and I could go on and on and on, but for me, that's what I was thinking, and I didn't make this track in one day. It took a couple days, but the meat of the track, I did create in one day, and then just over time, added other elements and things like that.
How would you relate? So the term Old Wars, it feels like today that a lot of what we're seeing, the discord in society, is reflecting sort of some old war type themes. So how would you want people to reflect on right now as it relates to old wars?
That's a good question. I think the best way to answer that is to understand that the reason we're having certain things happen in this era, in this generation, is because there hasn't been an adequate solution to those old wars. And those old things continue to persist. This may be 2025, and a lot of things we've been experiencing in our society, whether it's, here in the Western Hemisphere, versus another hemisphere, they're all the same. It's a repeat, and that's because we haven't quite found out how to become together, how to be one as humanity, so, and this is a microcosm of so many things, but I think when you think about it, it just continues until we find an adequate solution. And this is kind of a beckoning call for us to do that.
Right.
Find a solution. How can we recognize our oneness, instead of, just being so divided and all of the contention among people, and whether it's ethnicity, whether it's political, whether it's religion, we have to understand that these things will continue to perpetuate and get even worse if we don't find a solution.
So, what I want to know, maybe we're 4 minutes in, we're talking to it, we're vibing to it, but what impact do you think, or how can techno music, Detroit techno music, help unify the world? Because techno comes out of Detroit,
right,
of course, and a lot of us, in the area have felt warfare on a personal level and historical level, and yet brothers and sisters have come together, others have come together to make this beautiful music.
Yeah.
How is this a statement of unifying the world, perhaps?
I think that's a good question too, and that's going to take a lot of reflection because music does that. And I think there's, in some very humanitarian purpose or vision, we have to find a way to continue to evangelize for this kind of music, because you look at the music festival that brings people from all over the world to Detroit. And you know, having come up with these folks, you know, if you're around here, you've seen them since high school, you know, these are your colleagues, this is your peer group, you know, you're so happy to see people become successful and to meet their goals when it comes to either DJing, producing music and things like that, or just, you know, using their art form to bring people together. So to answer your question, I think that, you know, when producers and DJs are showcasing their skills and their talents, you know, try to incorporate some type of vision of bringing people together, purpose, instead of self-centered. When I was younger, you know, and even when we did music, you know, sometimes we had that arrogance, you know, our music is better and our music is this and that. But you think about it, and there's nothing, you know, wrong with a little friendly competition. But on a real level, you have to realize your purpose. You know, you have to realize the gift that you have as a DJ or as a musician, and it's always about bringing people together. So if we produce music, if we DJ, if our whole premise is unity, people are gonna feel that, you know, and that's gonna help bring people together through music. And then we can talk about, you know, maybe in another venue, how can we as individuals address some of these old wars, and what can we do as individuals? Because, you know, individually we do make a difference. We have to believe that, and you know, just be true to doing what you can to bring people together.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
y'all can go ahead and get the track.
Get the track. I didn't make it
It's
for
out.
nothing.
It's hot. Raleigh, Renan, and Robert signing out for the AMX.
The AMX.
Audio Matrix. AMX Records. The Sound Odyssey.
All that.
Yeah.
Annie Gravy and all that. Peace.
Y'all find out who Annie Gravy is real soon. Real soon.